Okay, hello. So this will be a very, probably longer video than I want it to be, but I haven't made a video talking about updates for a couple of the last couple weeks actually, so that's about really two of the updates that I would want to talk about. So I'll just go through this list. The last video that I posted was after added Ganymede 1970 to the Hopper class. So in order, this is just a little update. So just a couple of new scenes in the landing light, Lunar Cape Explorer scene. Most of these new scenes, they just came from Daylonic Artworks, from Unity Asset Store, and I just used the demo scenes that he includes in his assets for most of the different scenes that you'd find in there. Then the major one, about a week ago, was the campaign creator, and then just some little fixes, just some little things that, and then the vector veins full version came after that, and then that was earlier this last weekend. And then there's actually one more, which is today, which is the random hoop generator and the hide and seek race type. And so I'm going to work backwards, and I'm going to talk about the random hoop generator and the hide and seek race type first. So here you can see the main menu is just as cluttered as ever, and it has happened to me before where people have said, oh, that main menu sure has a lot of buttons. How do you play the game? And that's true, and every once in a while I think about how I'm going to reorganize it. I think I'm going to make one menu that has all the vehicles, and then you play the game by play from the vehicle menu, or you can play from the campaign menu, or you can do all these level management, and then there's the test levels will probably always remain on the main menu. Training has not been touched for a long time, but there's really nothing to that right now. But actually, some things might change in the training after this random hoop generator gets more fully implemented. And so first I'm going to talk about the random hoop generator. So it's a test level, so you come to it from the main menu, and then here you are, and you have a nice view of Saturn. Let me get my controller connected. So here my controller's connected. Alright, so the random hoop generator, you press the pause menu, and let me move my big nose, and then what you have is this button here for random hoop generator. So when you press this random hoop generator button, you pop up to another menu, and these are all the objects that you can normally place. And you can click this button right here, and it'll choose which one. And some of these objects, I mean, right now, the way it is, it'll generate that object, but it's totally useless if you generate this object. You know, then, I mean, this one is huge, and spread them out a little bit. So then you generate that object, but now all you have is, you just have these objects, and there they are. But you can't do anything with that, you know, they're not going to work like racing checkpoints because they're just obstacles. And you can just do that to make an environment and then place the hoops, but every time you generate a new set of hoops or objects, it's going to delete all the other objects that were previously generated. So at the moment, it doesn't serve you any purpose to generate these. Now I could add, but I could make it so that you can add more, you know, and then you can add obstacles, and then you can add the hoops. But the problem with that is that there's nothing to stop it right now from generating the hoops inside of these objects. So I have to figure out a couple of things. And one of the things I have to figure out with the random hoop generator is how is it going to make it so that if you have other objects, then the hoop is not going to spawn inside of that. I don't know why that collider's way in there like that. That's unusual. wonder if it has something to do with the way that it was spawned. Yeah, that collider's working correctly. So I'll have to investigate some things about this random hoop generator, but at any rate, if you do it the normal way, which is selecting a hoop that you can fly through, and we'll put it in a small area, and I'll generate a few extra. So you can set the number that you're going to spawn up to 10, and can't go below 1. So then this is the spawn area size. Oh, that's crazy. My words weren't overlapping, but now they are. Small, medium, or large. So I have a small, this is the object that will spawn, and I spawn the rings, and now there should be 6 of those little hoops in close proximity to the 0, 0 location, and there they all are. And you can see the reset location doesn't vanish. And they are actually already all added to the race. So all you have to do is spawn the generator and then start the race. And then whatever race type you have set up in the settings, and then you just go through. So here I have infinite laps, no timer. And so I'll go through this one, and then I see that I have to go over to that one. And then I can go through that one, but you can see that I can't go both ways. I can only go one direction through it. That's a regular race type. So then I go through here, and I gotta figure out where the next hoop is. And then if you play through it multiple times, then you would figure out maybe a more race line through it. And if you want to generate one and you're like, man, I really wish I could generate this one later somehow, and actually from here you can save it and load it just like usual. Or if you generate these hoops and you want to decorate the area around it, you can save it and load it and it'll work. It just can't generate the new hoops, it'll erase everything. I mean, if you saved it, then you can always load it again. Okay, so then you could go, let me quit the race first, just to make sure I don't get any bugs. So then if I go to the race settings, then I go to hide and seek. This is the other part of the update. And this works everywhere, not just in the random hoop generator level. So all the vehicles have this at every scene. And so now that I've set it to hide and seek, and you can see up in the corner it says hide and seek. Now if I start the race, let me find them, you'll see two things. You'll see that all of the hoops are lit up. That means I can go through any one that I like. Okay, and you'll see that they're lit up green from both directions. So it doesn't matter which direction I go through them. And if I go through it, it turns off, and then you can see on the upper left it says 5 checkpoints remaining. So then I can just fly through them all, whatever order and whatever direction I choose, and they'll all turn off. So hide and seek is more meant for the name is named after, if you were to have all these checkpoints on an interior level, which we will move to now. So let's say I go to the drone menu and I go to this base station interior and I don't randomly generate the hoops, but you can see that I'm in here inside of a space station, and there's hallways and there's rooms, and these hoops could be anywhere. So then if I wanted to place hoops around, I'll just switch to space mode. Okay, I'll pick a different looking hoop. Those are space ships and stuff. A hoop that's a little more visible. So here, I got a hoop in here, and right there. So now there's a hoop in there, and then I'll come down this way. There'll be a hoop in here. There'll be another one over here. And this is one of the Daylonic Artworks assets. These are very nice assets. I really like them. Okay, so then I gotta add all these to the race. So I'll just go building the race. So then I fly through this hoop. And then I fly through this hoop over here. Then there's 2 checkpoints in the race. And then I had one more over here, if I remember correctly. And so then I'm done adding to the race. So I'm done building the race, and I come to the race settings. I select hide and seek. I select timer on the first checkpoint. These should have no effect in hide and seek at the moment. They do have no effect in hide and seek at the moment. It's a totally different system. So unfortunately, there's no way for you to know that. But so then I return to the, and then if I begin the race, I can't begin the race in space mode. If I begin the race, oh jeez. Why is it? Oh, I hit the wrong one, that's why. So timer on the reset with the countdown. Now if I begin the race, now here I am. And I gotta go find those checkpoints. And it's hide and seek. So let me see if I can find one of them here. Pretty sure I went this way. Oh, going too fast. I got the Newtonian thrust physics to work with here. And it's in normal, but you know, I like it better at the half lateral thrust. Since you can see here in the ducky cam, there's only 2 thrusters each direction, but there's 4 forward and reverse. So you're meant to play this half that lateral thrust is supposed to be normal. But the default is all directions have equal thrust. So now I went through there, and now you can see there's 2 checkpoints remaining. I just gotta find them. And then I could have went through those in either direction. So hide and seek is named after this kind of thing, where it's not really a race, but now the player has an excuse to try to fly around through these hallways because, you know, they gotta find the different hoops and stuff. And so I do think that it would be possible to organize it so that it randomly generates hoops all inside of this facility, for example. And then if there were randomly generated hoops all inside of this facility, then hide and seek would be more appropriate as a term, because if you put them there, you have no, you know exactly where they are. But if they're randomly generated, you would never know where they are. And so that might be a future project. So anyways, but in the game Fly Dangerous, actually, this is a little bit more accurate to how the gameplay would run in a game like Fly Dangerous. So if I generate these random hoops, I'll just generate a bunch of them in a medium area. Alright, spawned them, set it to hide and seek, and then timer on the reset. Okay? And then the last step that I would do, switch to space mode for this. So that's the reset location. So you can see where the hoops all are. And so the final step that you would do to make it more like Fly Dangerous is you would analyze the position of these hoops. Kind of try to plan out your projected line. So it looks like if I go through this one, then I can go through that one, and then come back through that one, and then go to this one, and then go to that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. So then I'll try to get close here, and then I'll just press F3 so that I don't have to cycle to it. And then here's my reset location. I just place my reset location there, and now I'm in the direction that I want to be. Switch out of space mode, and now when I begin race, you can see that I'm over here. So let me get moved over here so you can see. So then if I press, and now it begins me, and it pops me to the reset location, and then here I go. And now I can try to go through these hoops. And then I would try to fly through. I'd try to figure out the line that's going to go the fastest through them all. you know, so now I'm going to try to come down with this one. And then I'll come back around through this one. And that should take me directly here. I'm already lost, I'm disoriented. Can't tell which way's up. So I guess I'm just gonna go over here next. So there's 3 left, but I can only see 2. So I'll go through this one backwards to see if I can see where these 2 are. And there's 1 over there. And so actually, even out here in the open space, it is a little bit of hide and seek. Where could the last one be? Problem is, it's probably way out there. There it is. And I know it's the last one, so I just need to get through. There it is. So the race is finished. Alright. So going back to the menu, and then going back to the menu, and then going back to the updates list here. So the vector veins initial release. So that's the next thing. So then the vector veins has its own menu now. And if I come in here, I can come to this variety of levels. They're all here. There's the settings. The earth blink is pretty nice. But I'm gonna go to the arena. Same classic arena. And here you can see I'm already flying around. So this camera doesn't zoom, but if I go to this other camera, then when I move it, it'll stay there. And so here you can see the smiley faces on the front, and the headband is actually where all the cameras are. So if I go to the fixed cameras, yeah, the snap look cam lets me look around. You can see that I'm up inside of that headband, right? So the cameras are actually all up in the headband, but you can also play from these other cameras. And this camera is cool because now I can get a view of how it's working, and you can see that the veins, they move with the rotation of with the position of the pitch, roll, and yaw. And then if I apply thrust, then the veins are going to redirect the thrust in that direction. And so it works a little bit like a gimbal rocket. Oh, my joystick fell apart. I better fix it. Here we go. Alright, so that's how the function of the vehicle flies. And it does simulate that in the game to some degree. I mean, of course, I'm not the best game developer ever. So it doesn't simulate the thrust plume in the lift and drag. I just try to kind of estimate out how those forces might act, and I have a rough approximation. So the way that it flies is basically how the sticks should interact, although the specific feel of the vehicle will not be accurate to true life. But the function of the sticks and then how that affects your gameplay should be within an area that I could probably tune later if I learned something. And so then the full version of the vehicle, of course, has everything. You can save and load, and you can change your input curves, and you can have input filtering and affect the power. Oh, I gotta fix this button. Well, you can't affect the power yet. I gotta go fix that. Alright, so that's the Vector Veins vehicle. And then the final thing, the final major thing, is the campaign creator down here. And so I'm gonna go move my face. And so you see down here we have the campaign creator. It's these two buttons right here. And so you can play a campaign, or you can create a campaign. So there's no built-in campaigns. All of the campaigns that are going to be here are going to be player created. Of course, I can create some, just like these training levels, you know, where you import the training levels. But actually, they're just player created levels. They're training levels in the sense that you go there and the level is intended to be training, and here you even have like some pop-ups on the screen for the levels that I created. But in so much as the levels themselves, they still function the same way as player created levels. I mean, they're built from the same engine, and then I just put some text on the screen for a couple of them. So to create a campaign, you just come to the campaign creator menu, and here's the scene list. So whichever scene you've saved your levels to, so there's a lot in the arena here, but I haven't really played some of these other ones as much, and some of them just don't have that many levels, but all those ones had a couple levels that I clicked on, so how fashionable is that? Then you can pick which save, and then you pick which campaign you're going to add it to. Actually, it's going to, you know, so since these are all full, but actually they're just tests. So here's this one is, these levels are baloney, they're just one hoop. So now that we're in test 3 and these levels are all baloney, I'll just remove all these levels. So I'm going to add this one right here. I'll add it. It goes right there to the top spot. So then let's say I want to select one of these default blue courses and add that one. And then back at the rock hopper test, this is a pretty good level right here. So here I've got 3 different vehicles, you know, and they'll be played in order. Let's say I want this one to be later on. It's a long course, you know, it's kind of more of a middle course. You can use these buttons here to move things around. And then when I'm all good and ready, I know that now I'm going to replace these levels that are in this one. I just saved the campaign. Hey, what the heck? Why is it moving my stuff around? Well, that's a weird behavior. I have to go figure that out. I just found out about that. So here we've now made this campaign, and it's called Test 3. Alright, so then if you don't have any in here, or you want to make a new one, an empty one, then you just here type in a different name. Test 5. Alright, and then when you click here, it's all unassigned. You can change how many levels are in it. You can add something there. There you go. Alright, so then I want to play the campaign. So then what I do is I go to play the campaign, and I find test 3, and here it is, and then I play the campaign. So I don't know why it's not giving me my pop-up screen. What's going on here? I gotta go figure out why that's broken. Alright, let me play this one over here because that was not a different vehicle. Alright, now this is working correctly. And you can see that I don't know why it's giving me different ones. Multiple, but it tells me to press F2 to begin the race. And now I'm playing that level. And I'm not going to play it all the way through. But if I played it all the way through to the end, it would say race finished. And I just saved over the one that was an easy way to see that. And it would go to the next race. So let me go back. Let me go back to create campaign. So now I've saved these 1, 2, and 3 back into that test 3 campaign. So now if I go play that campaign, so now you see it says test 1-1, press F2 to begin race. So I start the race. There you can see I gotta fly through this hoop right away. Race is finished. So now that the race is finished, it waits a few moments and loads into the next level, which is the same, but it's different. So now I'm racing, and then I go through. It says race finished. And after a short while, it'll move on to the next level. So I don't know why it's got all these other words stacked up on top of each other. I don't know what's going on there, but here's the final level. I press the begin race button, and it'll fly through that hoop. And race will be finished. And it takes you back to the main menu. And that's the basic version of the campaign creator. So now I found out that it's doing funny things with those words. I gotta go sort that out, and then sort out why it didn't even give you the words on the other vehicle, the 2 gimbal hopper. So anyways, now that'll be all for now. I did also put a landing light in. Let me see if I can show that landing light. I mean, in the cave. In the cave is a good place to see that. So I'll pop back to the. So here you can see. I forgot the landing light buttons. There's no landing light. And I think you put the left shift button, and now you can see the landing light is on. But it's not that bright. But if you start getting closer to the ground, the light comes on. But that's not that useful until you're trying to look down through your legs. And then when you're right above the pad, that'll be useful in certain dark areas. But if you want to crank it up, there's also a let me go back to the ducky cam. You can have it be very bright. So this light is glaring out because the light is above those legs. So I gotta sort that out. But otherwise, it seems to be working as expected. And then that's the landing light. Alright. So that'll be the end of the video, and thank you very much.